Nottingham Forest must be really hungry because they're in for some lasagna. But I think this is the wrong dish they're looking to serve up. Good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever in the world you are, whatever time of day you're watching this. Hope you're having a wonderful day, and welcome to your latest Nottingham Forest transfer news in this case. And in this case, we're going to be talking about Lassana Coulibaly. Okay, I'm only joking, that's not his actual first name. But Forest have apparently made a £7 million bid for Coulibaly. And this in itself is worrying because that's already paying way, way over the odds for a failure from Rangers, who was recruited by Stevie G, and he was terrible. He's now moved into Serie A, and apparently he's got a bit better, but he's playing for 12th in the league and not really doing too much. But putting all that aside and putting aside the actual quality of goodness or crapness of this player, the real question that needs to be asked is why? Why are Forest going for another CM? A CM who can play as a CDM, but is more renowned as a central midfielder rather than a defensive central midfielder. And I think for me, if this is true, now this was reported about a week ago from some Italian weak sources. And today it's hit the NEP, which probably weakens it, if anything, to be honest. But I just don't see the logic behind it. And the only thing that springs to mind is the word panic. And why do I say this? Because he's a very similar, younger version profile player of a Czech Kyoto. And with Czech Kyoto suddenly getting injured, this stinks to me of a Willy Bolly / Bidet style signing at the end of the transfer window in the summer, where Forest are looking for a like-for-like replacement, which may explain why Colback's been getting some game time during these recent friendlies. But it really begs to ask the question of, why are we strengthening a position, one of only a few positions where I feel we are actually spoilt for talent, to be honest? We have Ryan Yates there, we've got Lewis O'Brien, we've got Mangala, you got Coyote, who of course is injured, you got Freuler, just to name but a few. And surely already Steve Cook, why do I always call him Steve Cook? Steve Cooper should be having headaches in which midfielder combos he should be going for, because that really is the main debate we end up having on the Forest forums, on the fan forums, on the podcast. By the way, if you haven't already, Grumpy Old Reds, go subscribe to it. The link's in the description down below. It's on Spotify, it's on Apple, it's on Google, it's on all the other players as well. If you want some long-term content for Nottingham Forest while you're driving to work or helping you to go to sleep, please go and listen now. We got episode 2 already out this week, which looks forward to the Valencia match. It also looks forward, it talks about the recent friendlies, and it talks about England. And by the way, Ant goes off on probably his biggest rant I've ever heard on Gareth Southgate. So if you haven't checked it out, please go check it out. But let's get back on topic on here with Coulibaly. And look, do I think he's a bad signing? No. Do I think 7 million is too much for him? Yes. In my estimation, he's only worth about 4 million. But because they don't want to sell him, he comes at an inflated price. Salernitana already have an injury in that position. So for them to sell, as I just mentioned, the price would be slightly inflated. But it depends what side of the Brexit line you look at. According to English sources, they'd be willing to deal at the right price. According to Italian sources, they need to keep him at the very least for cover, and because they think he's been having a better season this year. But do we really want a person who flopped in the Scottish League gracing our presence in a battle in the Premier League? This one is not for me, guys. I don't know. Let me know what you think down below. Just to give you some facts on him, he's 26 years old. He's a Mali international. Some call him the Mali Messi. I don't know why. But he's played 14 matches this season. He's had 1 goal and 1 assist. Probably what you'd expect from a CM. I just don't get this. Look, for me, the primary position still is a centre-back. This should be the main if the only focus of Nottingham Forest. Get a pacey playmaking centre-back who can replace Cook and finally bench him once and for all, and can partner Niakate once he's back up and fully fit. And then we have a hell of a back five with Henderson in goal, Niakate plus new signing. You got Lodi left back, Aurier right back. That's a brick wall. Slap in front of that Freuler Mangala or Freuler Yates or Freuler O'Brien, whatever the two, and then unleash the attackers. We've got a team there. They're just not being utilized in their correct position. And it does worry me. Who's making this call? Is this a Cooper call or is this a hierarchy call on a bid like this? Look, the sources, as I mentioned at the start of the video, are not very strong, but there's no smoke. There's no fire without smoke or smoke without fire. Which way is that saying? I can never remember. Following that centre-back, we need a striker. Owoni is clearly not in Cooper's good books. For God's sake, he played him out on the left against Olympiacos. He's a striker. He's got nothing to do with being a left. I probably have better ball touches still than Owoni and better ball control than him. To play him out on the left wing, still nearly a week on, is baffling me. So for me, the two main positions are centre-back and then striker. And then if we have enough, pennies left in the old piggy bank, then a proper out-and-out CDM, because we don't have one of those. In terms of CMs, we got them growing off trees. In terms of right backs and left backs, we're more than fully covered, if not overstocked on those. So we've got to get the spine right, and all teams should be built on a spine. Look, I don't like the look of this signing, but I'd like to know what you guys think down below. There are a couple of other clubs interested in him, Fulham being another one, but no one really else is making much noise or much impetus on him, which kind of tells you everything you need to know about him. Get your thoughts in below. Just to remind you, we may have a Forest Forum coming for you guys tomorrow night, as well as on Friday, the Valencia watch-along. And this literally is last chance saloon before we get into competitive football. Look, I've said what I've had to say about friendlies, but this Valencia one needs to have the starting 11 that we're expecting to see at Blackburn or at Manchester United. And please, God, someone in the last week tell me they've been taught how to pass the ball from one player to the other. At the very least, let's start with that, because those previous three friendlies are nothing to cry home about. Anyway, guys, that's the Forest news. Sorry, I've been at work for the last 2 days, really snowed under, so I haven't been able to get my face in front of a camera, so apologies for it. But we're back now with a nice clean run in the build-up to the Premier League. Final quick reminder, please do go and check out the Grumpy Old Reds podcast. You really will enjoy it. And make sure you subscribe to it and leave it a 5-star review. And while you're here on this video, if you've enjoyed the content, or maybe you've missed me, I don't know, please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and if you want to support me and the way we're growing this community into loads of different areas, be it podcasts, be it YouTube, be it a couple of other things coming up soon for you guys. Please don't forget to become a member for 99p. That 99p goes straight back towards upgrading everything, giving you the best experience you can have on the old internet with Nottingham Forest. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. Come on, you Reds.